tu opinión, ¿qué es mejor?
Más seguro este,
Sí.
pero como más rico porque es temporada, o sea, no es todo el tiempo, este es todo el tiempo. Este es temporada, entonces prefiero en la temporada este, sí, porque este es todo el tiempo.
And then I asked each of the farmers that we talked to how far from El Centro they lived, and it ranged from 10 kilometers to 20 kilometers, so 10, 15, 20, so they are a little bit outside of town, obviously.
The farmer that I talked to, he was really enthusiastic, like as we were walking past, so that's kind of why I picked him.
¿Dónde crece las manzanas?
De Chile.
De Chile.
Chile, sí.
More interactive than the Amish. More interactive than the Amish farmers.
Come buy this! Come over here! We have things that you might want.
Yes.
Pejivalle.
Vejivalle. ¿Dónde crece? ¿En las montañas?
No, bueno, en zona caliente. Sí, que está en zona caliente. So, es algo parecido como ver estas palmeras. Salga para que las vean. So, algo como ver estas palmeras, un poco más delgadas, pero llenas de espinas.
I talked to a farmer who primarily had vegetables. She had tomatoes and a bunch of different types of peppers and choyote, which is a type of squash. And I asked her where her farm was, and I couldn't exactly understand where she was explaining it to me, but it's basically really close to Turrialba. And it's a really small farm. She said it's less than 1 hectare. So, but yeah, they had like a ton of produce there. And they only have family basically working at her farm.
¿Y este maduro? Para freír. Para freír, con queso, con natilla, con lo que usted guste.
Talked to a lot of vendors. And one in particular that I really liked, I asked the vendor about the process of how he manages the mango production, and then he said that those were really easy. And then he said papayas and pineapples are a little bit more difficult because you need to pay more attention to the soil as well as like the animals that are like, you know, accustomed to eating those types of fruits. And then what I thought was really interesting was that he sold these green oranges. I asked him why were the oranges green, and he said it was because that they had like 7 different varieties of oranges, and then I got to try one, so it was pretty cool.
The first one, I didn't understand a word, and he mumbled the whole time. The second one was about the same. Then I asked a kid, and he told me to ask someone with more experience. So now, on to number 4. ¿Va a otras ferias?
Sí.
¿Dónde?
And I asked him questions about like programs of assistance and education for farmers, and he and his wife, with a little bit of help, answered that they have programs for maintenance, distribution, and quality, like different programs in a series.
¿Cómo sabe si un mango es maduro? Está maduro.
Está maduro. Ah, y cuando toma este color amarillo, rojo.
I talked to a female farmer about mainly about bananas and plantains and the differences between the two and the varieties that they grow.
I went up to a woman who was selling a whole bunch of different items, and I was asking her like where they grew them, and actually there was a gentleman like right outside like by us, and he was telling us how long it took to grow each vegetable and fruit, which that was really cool.
¿Quién trabaja en su finca?
¿Qué tipo?
Granny.
Granny. Oh, bueno.